Hell, they don't want. Hell, Jeb is tanking. So they went to Rubio. Rubio is getting pounded and hurt all over the place, and he's got the negatives on this amnesty thing. He just can't get over that. Now they're reaching out openly to Romney, the guy who's already lost twice. Do you understand? He ran against McCain. He couldn't win the primary. He couldn't get the nomination. He lost. Then when he got the nomination 4 years later, he couldn't beat a very bad president. He couldn't beat a very bad sitting president. He lost. What do they want to give him? Strike number 3? They want to give the poor guy 3 strikes? All right, Romney did the bright thing. He stayed out this time. He's like, no, I had enough. I'm done. And now they're out there saying, hey, Romney, man, Mitt, man, you got to think about this. You got to come back. You got to save the RNC. You got to be the Republican mainstream moderate candidate, man. You're the only one. All the moderates will come out for you, man. They may be split on Rubio and Jeb, but they'll unite behind you. And he'll lose again. Only this time he'll lose to Hillary. Do we really want another 4 years of a third Barack Obama term? We definitely can't afford or survive that. We can't. Sorry. We just can't. We can't afford another 4 years of more than 95 million people, Americans, without a job, out of the workforce. We can't afford another 4 years of no real economic growth. We can't afford another 4 years of stagnant wages. I mean, people are not making any more money than they were like 10 years ago. This is ridiculous. There is no real wage growth. There is no buying power increase in people's wages. None, zero, zip, nada. The government tells us this every single quarter. So it's not like we're making it up. The government is telling us this. There's no real wage growth. No, and we can't afford to keep having an endless wave of illegal immigrants coming across our borders. We can't afford another 4 years of being indecisive and wimpy and mamby-pamby on Islamic fundamentalism and extremism and terrorism. We can't afford another 4 years where Putin and Xi from China get to run the world rampant without any pushback from the United States. We can't afford this. That's exactly what we'll get. We get a Rubio or a Romney. Not going to get a Bush. I mean, I think it would be a miracle if Bush is. All bets are on Rubio. A Rubio. We can't afford a Romney. We sure is, simply because they won't win. I mean, it's pretty much like all of Bernie Sanders wants to give stuff out for free. Free is going to cost us $18 trillion plus. Free's too expensive. We can't afford free. We're going to have this debate. Nobody's going to watch. Even if Sanders does, nobody's going to hear him. Nobody's going to notice him. Mainstream media isn't going to focus on them. Fox News really isn't going to care because it's going to be a ho-hum humdrum. I'm not going to be paying attention. You might get some of the other big talkers out there who might get some clips and play them for you, but they're not going to be paying attention either. You think Rush Limbaugh is going to pay attention to Saturday's Democratic, two of which are just up there for show? I'm not going to do it either. Especially after that last Democratic dude. What a debacle. Love fest. I'm sick and tired of hearing about damn emails. He's over there. Yeah, me too. So it's yeah, well, you'll have Saturday Night Live preceded by Saturday Night News, preceded by whatever Saturday night programming comes on at 10 to 11, preceded by Saturday Night of the Dead. Democratic. Saturday Night of the Dead. You won't have to. You won't have to watch Walking Dead because they'll be on stage. I know I'm laughing at my own jokes, but come on. Think about it, folks. You're gonna have you're gonna have Debating Dead. How's that? The Debating Dead on Saturday night. Well, because Walking Dead comes on the new episodes are every Sunday, right? Well, Saturday you get the preview. It's Debating Dead. Here's something that's a little, well, speaking of dead, again, we try to do things. I know I started off the show a little bit heavy because of the incidents in Paris, France, but that needed to be talked about. But let's face it. Speaking of the dead, still on the lighter side. Try to do on Fridays. That's why we call it. Here from the Daily Mail. Dead. The dead. The dead. The dead are being farmed. What? Yeah. Well, it's not exactly zombieism, but it is. It's they're saying it's for research, and they're looking for people to donate their body to medical science. Now, here's the deal: you would leave your body to medical science and leave it to be used in a body farm. And you're probably, what a body? What the hell is a body farm? Here's a story from the Daily Mail. Human remains left to decompose in the open air in the name of research. Here's the question, would you leave your body to medical science if it meant going to a body farm? Human taphonomy, Taphonomy, human taphonomy studies what happens to an organism after its death. Body farms exist in the U.S., and one is due to open outside Sydney, Australia in 2016. Attempts to open a body farm in the UK have failed due to lack of support. Anna Williams is professor of forensic anthropology at the University of Huddersfield. The popularity of body farms, in which human remains are left exposed to the elements, is slowly building. Bodies or inmates are donated to these human taphonomy facilities, and their decomposition is studied to learn more about forensic science. Now, while the UK and the rest of Europe have so far declined to open such facilities, a growing number of successful body farms in the US and soon in Australia is slowly changing attitudes. Now, I've never heard of such a thing before. You could be out for a walk in the woods, come across a decomposing body, freak out, call 911, and next thing you know, you have all these, emergency people running out there looking at this body, only to find out that the body was donated to science these scientists who are studying human taphonomy and how bodies decompose and toss them out and call it a body farm. And, well, look, I guess a mass murderer might have something new. He might start, saying, hey, would you don't start? I know this is probably not funny, but can you imagine this? A mass murderer decides to start sending out, before he becomes a mass murderer. I could see this being on or Cold Case or one of those TV where somebody's a potential or a future serial killer starts sending out applications for people to sign to donate their bodies to science after they die, and then figuring yes, so they murder this person, dump their body in the open, and then you find that they have given their body to science. I know that sounds sick, people, but look, in order to catch criminals, sometimes you got to think like, maybe I should have been a Sherlock Holmes investigator, but sometimes you got to think, well, not sometimes, in order to catch a thief, you got to think like a thief. In order to catch a mass murderer, you got to think like a mass murderer. I think that's probably why a lot of these people who are into these serious types of law professions that look into these types of crimes don't last very long. They burn out because it's got to be maddening to have to think like these people on a constant basis in order to catch them. I mean, it's got to mess with your mind. I can see that would happen. But in any case, bodies are donated to body farms, and their decomposition is studied to learn more about forensic science. Now, facilities for human taphonomy, the study of what happens to an organism after its death, are unique outdoor labs where scientists can monitor the processes of human decomposition in a variety of different situations. For example, they are interested to learn whether a body decomposes differently if it's locked inside a car boot or submerged in water, and if the body is clothed, naked, or wrapped in a duvet. Really? We really want to know that kind of stuff? There are currently 6 functioning facilities in the U.S., with one opening outside Sydney, Australia in 2016, and the possibility of one in India. There are 6 functioning facilities currently in the United States. Human decomposition is a complex process susceptible to changes in ambient temperature, local climate, and surrounding conditions. Each of these places has its own pattern of decomposition because each environment is different. Say in the U.S. alone, might be affected by raccoons and coyotes. Australia, dingoes could be a problem. Then in Texas, will decompose differently than those in Fox Valley, Wisconsin. So I guess they have a body farm in Texas, and they have a body farm in... I don't know. How do you put up with the odor? I mean, because if you've ever walked by or near a larger animal, the smell will knock you off your feet. I mean, it's gross. It's disgusting. You know something is dead. So imagine a human being. Ever walked by a dead deer? I mean, you could be 100, like 50 yards from that thing, and you're smelling it. And you wonder what the hell, and you see the what's remains of the carcass of a dead deer. Imagine a human being. I want to imagine. We'll be right back.